So, I've had a lot of jobs over the years, including one where I managed a pizza plate that got robbed at gunpoint twice, and it's not even the worst job I've had. The worst job I've had is T-Mobile customer service. Let's talk. So, T-Mobile. I'm using a T-Mobile phone right now. I have T-Mobile service, but I will never again work for the T-Mobile company. And I will tell you why. So, first off, I just want to say customer service, it's definitely not a job for everybody. But I had just come from working 6.5 years at Dish Network customer service, so I knew the customer service game pretty well. So at first, things were great. It has a great benefit package. It pays what customer service generally pays. It has bonus tiers. The benefits were fantastic. That was one thing I really missed. They have a great benefits plan. I'll give them that. But it was the environment that really kind of drove me away. More so the management. I liked a whole lot of the people, most of the people I worked with, except for the management. So one thing is then customer service. Like any customer service job most likely out there is you're not a person, you are an operator ID. Essentially, you are your stats, and that is your worth. Now, at Dish Network, when I first started, I had trouble. I'm a slow learner. I had trouble kind of adjusting, and my stats weren't too good. So what they did is they gave me encouragement, they gave me tips and tricks, they gave me tools to get my stats up to the point where I was selected years into doing this to be part of an advanced technical support team of only maybe 15 people out of the couple hundred that worked there, I think. There were probably like 300 people, at least 200 representatives, and I was chosen to do that. So it's not like I'm a bad customer service representative, but if you tell me I'm bad, you're gonna get bad results, and I feel like that's where management missed the mark. So when I first started at T-Mobile, I was having trouble adjusting to this new system. It's they had a whole different style than Dish Network had. So I was trying to use that. My stats were not the best. So I got pulled aside and I was like, give me some tips and tricks and tools. Like Dish Network, right? No, they threatened my job. They said, you are hired to do a job. Say you're hired to dig a ditch. Right? And there's 5 people digging this ditch, and 4 people are digging 20 feet worth of ditch a day, and you're digging 10 feet. Well, we're going to replace you with someone that can do 20 feet. I'm like, well, it's pretty good that we're not digging ditches. Do you want to give me tips and tricks on how to dig better, if we're going to go with that analogy? Or are you just going to say, do better? It just doesn't work that way. For the first 6 or 7 months I was on teams that the management style was like that, and it was awful. And then I went to a different team, because every 6 months, by the way, you have a realignment where you have to bid on a shift, and depending on your stats, are where you're going to be placed. Another thing I didn't like about it, you couldn't count on your schedule, only for 6 months out of the year. So finally I got on a team where the coach of this team, which teams are roughly 15 or so people, the coach of this team didn't play like that. He wanted to actually encourage people. Now, he didn't really give us a lot of tips and tricks, but he was very positive, and I liked that. And my stats started going up, and I started doing better to the point where at sometimes I was getting pulled off of the phone to go help a team full of new hires. I was a coach of a day for a team full of new hires. I was helping people that were just starting on the phone doing training. I was chosen to do that. So obviously, I knew what I was doing. Then I had a bad month. And that's where everything changed. So the main manager, the general manager, I guess, of that, the director of the call center, changed. We went from being one of the lowest call centers to being one of the highest call centers. And when we were up there near the top, they were very hard on you if you weren't contributing. So where I had a bad month, once again, that management style came into play and they made me feel like I was a worthless human being. If you're going to treat me like a worthless human being, you're going to get worthless stats because that's how I'm going to perform. I'm going to be like, oh, I'm horrible at my job, and that's going to be in my head. I don't work that way to where you tell me I'm doing bad and I'm going to do better. That may work for some, but I feel like, I could be wrong, but I feel like it doesn't work for most. I feel like that's just not a good practice, but that is their management style. So after that bad month, I had a few more bad months, and then they threatened my job again. And I had another bad month, and I got fired. Prior to this, I was so miserable. I was clinically depressed. I literally had to go to a psychiatrist and get put on antidepressants, which, by the way, I couldn't take because, if you don't know, I have stomach issues. They put me on Wellbutrin, gave me stomach issues. He put me on something else, it was a Zoloft maybe, and he was like, this is a whole different chemical compound. It gave me stomach issues. I got sick to my stomach every day. So it was like I couldn't take anything for it. I was miserable. I tried going to a therapist to where I wouldn't be on medication, but maybe it would help, like a psychologist. Didn't really help. And I was miserable. And when I got fired from that job, despite the fact I didn't know what I was going to do, I didn't know where I was going to go, but I walked out of there jobless with a smile on my face, knowing that not only was I not going back there, but I couldn't go back there because I was fired. I don't think they rehire people that are fired. I think they rehire people if you like put your 2 weeks in and everything, but if you're fired, pretty sure they don't rehire. But I knew at that point in time that was the end of my customer service job. Now, I'm sure part of the reason isn't on T-Mobile. It is that I was burnt out on customer service. I don't work anywhere near customer service now. I am the opposite. I don't work with customers. I work in manufacturing now, and I'm making better money, and I'm having fun at work. I have a more enjoyable work experience, and I actually, for the most part, like my job. And I had forgotten, being in customer service so long, I had forgotten that you don't have to hate your job. Now, is this what I dreamed of doing? No. But do I have fun at work? Most days, yeah. Some days are stressful. But with T-Mobile, every day was stressful. I would get there 30 to 45 minutes early just to convince myself that that's where I wanted to be and what I wanted to be doing. Because I believe self-talk can be helpful, but no amount of self-talk could make me believe that's where I wanted to be, what I wanted to be doing. Just walking into that building made me sick to my stomach. I've never hated a job as much as I hated that one, including a job where I got robbed at gunpoint twice. So, is T-Mobile a horrible place to work? Not for everybody. I have friends that still work there and they love it. But for me, doesn't work. And if you're somebody that doesn't take negativity well, then it's not going to be your place to work, because I'm pretty sure that's just the management style. I don't think it was just a couple people. I think they are designed to just break you down. And it's horrible. It really is. So, if you do well, they treat you great until you go up for a promotion. Here's another little thing. So they are on a list, this diversity list, diversity and inclusion list. They're always near the top, that's great. Diversity in the workplace is very important. And they hired people of all ethnicities, background, sexual orientation. That's fantastic. That, no discrimination. I will give them that. But when they go for promotions, in order to stay on this list, stay near the top of the list, they tend to go more towards people not for the skills so much as for the type of person you are. So, for instance, there was this guy that I worked with, and he was a straight white male, and he was consistently in like the top 3, normally number 1, not just a call center, in the entire industry, an entire company, I should say. Number 1 in stats. And this guy was good. When my stats were struggling, he sat next to me. He gave me tips and tricks and encouragement and tools, and I did better from his help. So he would have been a great coach. He went up for a coach position, or it may have been like the team lead, which is essentially an assistant coach. But he didn't get the job. And I feel like they go for diversity promotion. They go more for diversity than the actual skill set needed. Otherwise, why would he not get the job? And he quit the company. They lost one of their best, if not their best employee, because they didn't promote him. And I don't blame him. He deserved that job. Everybody knows he deserved that job, and he didn't get the job. And other people have gotten that position that maybe didn't deserve it. I'm not saying all of them didn't deserve it. There were plenty of great coaches, trainers, everything like that. But there are sometimes more deserving people, and they didn't get it. So I'm not a fan of T-Mobile. Like I said, I have T-Mobile service. It's the least expensive option for the large plan I have. I check every few years or so. I'll check like AT&T. Sprint has now been bought by T-Mobile. And Verizon, I don't even check Verizon anymore. They're just ridiculously expensive. Good coverage, but you're going to pay for it. T-Mobile doesn't have great coverage. It's gotten better. I'm digressing from the main point. I tend to do that. But I just want to let people know, for no reason whatsoever, just because I kind of wanted to get it off my chest. This is what this channel has become, is getting things off my chest. That T-Mobile customer service is the worst job I've ever had. And they will brainwash you into thinking it's the best place in the world to work, when for me, it's the worst. See you guys next time. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.